Hey everybody, welcome back to another 1510 game here on chess.com. We've got ourselves an e4 e5 game to begin. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm Keaton. Appreciate everybody that's subscribed and been watching the videos. Last night I played a little blitz chess, lost on time. And if you watched the videos, you found out didn't enjoy that. Didn't have a lot of fun. Oh, it was tough. It was tough. Up in a couple of winning positions, or what I felt were winning positions, and ended up losing. That's always a frustrating thing. So, got ourselves a 3 nights game to begin this. Looking at maybe bringing my knight out. Also thinking about pushing this. Take here. And so, now let's go ahead and bring this knight out. Could have also brought the bishop here, but there's no pin yet because that pawn is still behind it. So I'm just waiting. So 4 knights game as I play with black. Playing totes, not a boat. 970 American player. He's going to push that d4 pawn. So if I take, he's got one. Wow, can't draw today. 1, 2 defenders. And I would only have one more attacker. So let's add maybe one more piece here. I would say take here, but that isn't going to add a whole lot. If he does push here, we can always move out this way. So that's always an option. I think I'm just going to defend this piece. It does block in my dark score bishop, which I don't love. I'd like to get that outside the pawn structure, but we can always fiend Keto on the king side to get that out as well. If he takes, obviously, we'd take back with the pawn, and it wouldn't end up being a big deal. We could bring out that dark score bishop anyways. I'm running a little behind on the time here. Had a little trouble getting everything going on the recording initially, but we got it all figured out and we're ready to rock. It's been fun making these videos. I think I'm going to try and make them, most weekdays. I can't promise that I will always do them, but I think I will, I think that I'll do everything I can to get them up as much as possible. And if demand increases, I don't have any trouble increasing that for myself. Moving here is not really an option because he can take with the pawn, then he takes with the queen. That ends up in favor of him, so he would be up a pawn in that situation. I'm not looking for that. So I bring my knight out to b4. I am aware that he can kind of shoo me away in this situation with his a pawn coming in. He brings in another defender, which I think is probably a pretty good move in this situation. I'm just looking what my possibilities are. I can always move to this corner. He could take with that bishop. Not something he probably would want to do. But given the circumstances, he might do it. Thinking about trying to break this up with a c6 move. Put some pressure on this lead pawn. But he does have ample defense here. Yeah, 4 pieces defending this lead piece. He's done a good job of developing so far. Also looking at possibly bringing out my light score bishop to g4, giving him a pin with the queen. Also maybe forcing that light score bishop to move back. Let's go ahead and make this development move. I think that's a good idea. But I am looking at trying to get that c-pawn up, try and break up this pawn structure. I do think that this move is coming as well. Surprisingly, goes here. I think I want to keep this pin, so I'm just going to move here. If he wants to castle to this side, it would probably be pretty irresponsible to bring this pawn up. And it would just give me another attacker on this pawn at the e4 square. So I'm going to go ahead and move here, maybe disturbing this pawn structure and possibly giving me another attacker there. Yeah, because of the castling, I found it highly unlikely that this player would want to do that. I am also now thinking about taking, forcing them to take here and opening up the king to some options. So I don't think that that's a bad idea. I also think bringing this bishop to g6, adding another attacker here, give this square more attackers than defenders, give them something else to worry about. You know, maybe that's what I decide to do here. And then try and move this bishop. I actually don't think that's a bad idea. I do think that you could see that a pawn coming in to attack. Does have one more minor piece to develop. I also have my dark score bishop to develop, which is going to be difficult now because of the fact that this bishop is here. I do have some ideas for this, though. Attack here. He attacks back. I take. And then if this is still here, maybe coming in to take the pawn. They're going to go ahead and play that early, and I think that's probably a good decision on their part. So a few options here. Although they are limited options. Could sacrifice here, but there's just really nothing I can really do about that. Going here would actually be a detriment because they could only take with that queen, and if I'm trying to take advantage of this piece, which is a little on the weak side, I don't think that's going to end up working out for me. What if we take here? Only if he takes back with the pawn does that truly work, though. If they decide not to take with the pawn and take with the knight instead, we could still attack here and it wouldn't have any defenders. So I guess that would be an option. Maybe that's the way we go, is we sacrifice this in hopes that we can get compensation for it later. We can also move in this c pawn at any point too to attack, or to shoo any minor piece away from here. It's just a chance. Yeah, I'm actually thinking that's probably a pretty bad move if he takes with the... Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know what I was thinking. I think moving here was the way to go. But we're 9 moves in. I guess actually 10 moves in. And it's the first captured piece. So both of us have been kind of setting up our positions. And I think he's got a better position than me in all actuality. Disappointed by that. I am gonna look to move this c pawn up. I think maybe that's what I do. If he goes ahead and takes there, I like the fact that I have 2 bishops, or 2, gosh, I do that a lot in these videos, call pieces by their wrong name. These 2 pawns in the middle, and he won't have any pawns. If he doesn't move, it allows me to take. I mean, he can always take back, but I could then kind of skewer these 2 pieces. We'll see. I don't think I'm totally out of luck, but I don't love this position overall. This also gives me an escape for my queen. If that dark score bishop comes out, can end up attacking it, attacking that b pawn. Does go ahead and take. Go ahead and take back. And again, I do like the fact that I have a nice little position here. Both of his middle pawns are gone. But the downside to that obviously being that I now am in the very tough position of being down in material, losing a minor piece. But if we can get this queen here and attack this b pawn, we can render this dark score bishop not useless, but a non-attacking bishop, which I think in the long run could be good. I say that with a bishop that's been locked into its square for a long time. I don't know what I'm really talking about when saying that. And I think that might be a little premature. Move in to this square, obviously trying to attack and fork the queen and the rook. It's not going to work because I'm going to move this queen out to this b square, as I said. One thing this does do here, though, moves this, it protects this e4 square, which I had control of previously. Now, I can try and take advantage of that by pushing this d5 pawn, d6 to d5. That would give me more control if he decided to take with the bishop or decided to take with the knight to try and get me out of there. I could always take back with the c-pawn. So that is one of the benefits of keeping a strong middle structure. See what his sense of danger is here as well, because you got to recognize that that's the only protector of that piece. And right now, this piece is anchoring down this knight. So outside of protecting this square, I don't know a whole lot else he can do with this knight. I do understand the temptation of trying to skewer the queen and the rook. That fried liver technique. Could castle long to this side. I don't know that I love that idea. It would line up my rook with the queen. And with this protecting here, he wouldn't be able to get that queen protected really by anything anytime soon. So, I mean, that would be good, but the structure wouldn't be great. This would be a more solid structure. Lines the queen up with this, and that was actually a very, very smart move. Wow. Yeah, that makes things much more difficult for me. And actually makes me think I might want to go ahead and castle long even more. So what that prevents is me moving my d pawn up. He would just take if I did that. Very good move. I am thinking maybe I go ahead and castle long. It would give an extra defender to this d file, which I think is going to open up anyways. Again, I don't love the structure, but I think that maybe that's the way to go. So here we go. Technically, he could try and skewer here. The rooks. I do have a defender, though. He's just going to take kind of an interesting move. So he just, instead of skewering these rooks, he's just going to go ahead and take. That's pretty smart. It's going to take care of my light score bishop. If I take, really only have one. Yeah, I really have to take. I don't feel like I have a whole lot of other choices. And then he'll come in with the skewer. Wow. Sheesh. Hmm. Man alive. This has gone poorly from the jump. Seeing if there's really any tactics here. I think probably the best thing I can do is just move this bishop out of the way so that my rooks are connected and can take the knight in whichever way it goes. Yikes. Wow. Yeah. Guess I'll go ahead and do that. And, because he's going to get one of the rooks no matter what, so. Ah, well, that's frustrating for sure. And indicative of how I've been playing as of late. So. I'll go ahead and take with the rook. I could have taken with the bishop or the queen. But I do like having the rook on the d file. That dark score bishop ended up being a bigger issue than I anticipated initially. Just kind of all of it has not gone well. It's gone pretty darn poorly. So, up 5 now. Up a full rook on me. And he does bring out that dark score bishop, which is going to allow me to take that b pawn. Guess he can now take my a pawn, but it also he's protected here. But I can So he moves this rook over. I'm trying to see what his plan is because it seems like what he'll try and do is I take, either here or here. He takes here. If he does go, okay, one thing I can do is if I take here, I can prevent this piece coming into the A file and then him bringing in the rook to follow. So keeps an eye on this knight as well. Wonder if he saw that that was a move. Keep fighting, keep grinding away here. I don't like resigning either. I think at this level it does. It's beneficial to play these games out, see where you make the mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. I go as far as saying it's a good thing to make mistakes. You want to make those mistakes. If you're not making them, you're not really improving as a player. Connects the rooks by bringing the queen to d2. Also protects that pawn. Maybe move that d pawn up, protected by the c pawn as well as the knight. He would have one, and the rook. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. This also is going to allow me to connect the bishop and the queen. Could be beneficial going forward. I do think this rook is going to end up coming back to the A file. Yep. Yep, that is what they do. So where do we go? Where do we go? Do we bring the queen back to d6? Look to push and split these two minor pieces. It's an option. Could move here. I just don't foresee that being a very good square for my queen to be on going forward. I'm going to just bring that queen back, add another defender, and really look to push this. You could see this bishop take here, though, on the next move. I think that's probably what they'll do to prevent the ensuing d4 pawn move. Surprisingly, they decide to go with the rook. Okay. Well, I don't really see any reason not to do this at this point. Unprotects this piece, first of all. Let's go ahead and do that as we run down on time here. 108 to 540 for my opponent. Yeah, I think it would have been better to take with the bishop in that situation. I do like getting the rook to the 7th rank, though. That's always a good move. Solid play there. But when you've got two minor pieces with the ability to be split like that, I think it's good to keep that in mind. And there's not a whole lot on the 7th rank if the G and H pawn were available, I would say that. But right now I've got my bishop there, and that's connected to my queen. Taking a nice think here as Tote's not a bot. It's a good name. Queen has not been very active in this game for white. Obviously looking for the right moment to come in and attack with the queen. Tote's not a bot has played very well. It's been a very hard-fought game so far. They were able to skewer my rooks, and that's really been the main difference in this one. Early on, I sacrificed a knight. Don't know that that was the best move. He's going to go ahead and check me. Just wondering where to go. Let's go here. I imagine he'll just exchange with me, which I'm not thrilled with, but I don't really see a whole lot of other options in this situation. Guess you could see this rook come over as well. Maybe seeing the futility of attacking here. One thing I'm noticing too, if I do attack, so he does take there. I think I'll take with my queen. Because if I do take here or here, I'm opening myself up for that queen trade. So something else I'm not totally in love with the idea of. Checks me with his rook. Ends up taking with the bishop. I'll go ahead and take with my pawn. Think maybe we just go here with the dark score bishop. To protect again. I am down just 2 though. I am up a minor piece. He's up a rook. So it's close. I was able to make some up with the split of his bishop and his knight. That's why you keep fighting in these games at the lower levels. A lot of times people are going to leave stuff open for you. And so right there, see a pretty smart move. Bring in that rook to add to the attack. I don't think there's a whole lot I can do. I think maybe I'll just move here. And then maybe look at getting this bishop over here. Oh, he goes... Strange kind of move there. What's he looking at doing? Maybe coming in here? Huh. Tempo on the queen. 21 seconds, so I'm going to try and play quickly. Probably talk a little less here. And he goes for the check. Getting his queen out of the way. I see the idea there. And I lost on time. I was about to move. I was thinking about going right here to put pressure, but he was in a good position. So what I saw he was looking to do, I take here. He takes here. I take here. And then he brings in the queen here for that mate. Yeah, I think that's a mate. So I think that was his plan. Let's go ahead and look at this one. Chess.com is saying there's 0 blunders, 4 mistakes. But I'm not totally satisfied with this one. I think that I just, along the way, missed some threats of his. Something that I do a lot of. So let's take a look here. Typical opening. 4 knights. Probably should have just taken right here. Or taken with the pawn. Allowed him to come in here. I could have gone here. He takes back. So something that would have worked as well. I brought this piece out and it allowed him to move up in my area. So that was my mistake from the beginning. And yeah, I paid for it in the end, I think. I think it got me out of position. It blocked in my dark score bishop. And I think overarchingly that was probably, I mean, early on, move 3 or 4, make a mistake, and you can pay for it. So next time, I think you just take there in that situation. And so you can see we both were able to develop, but he was able to develop better. I just didn't think I had a great plan. What I did like is I was able to get these middle pieces where he had nothing in the middle. So I thought that was good. Looking on the bright side of things, I do think that I played it so I had an advantage and he had an advantage, but overarchingly, I think tactically, obviously, his advantage worked in his favor. So And then this ended up being a bad move because he was able to come in here, take a pawn. I took back, skewer my rooks, brought that bishop out just so I could connect my rooks. I don't think that was a good move. He tried to attack that queen. I was able to get in here and do some damage. I really don't think the rook to the B pawn was good either. It allowed me to take and keep pressure on this knight. Kind of stuck his queen there. Was able to take. But obviously this move ended up being beneficial towards me. He had to get out of it with this dark score bishop traded for a pawn. And then I ended up trading my best piece there. I was not happy about doing that. Got down to it. And this is where I ran out of time. I think I would have liked to have moved there. But yeah, what I saw for him is him taking here, or me taking here, take back with the knight, take back with the knight, and then come into d7 for the mate protected by that rook. So I didn't want to do that. I was looking at moving up here, but then he could have just taken with the rook. So I don't know what would have worked, what wouldn't have. But yeah, it was a hard fought game, and congrats to Totes Not a Bot, 19977 rated, and I fall to 924 because of it. Thanks again, everybody, for joining in on another game here, 1510 game on chess.com. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments, what you guys would have done differently. I hope a lot. I'm learning a lot by doing this, so it's been good for me, but it is not reflected in my ELO rating at the moment. So, oh well, I'm not here to become a professional chess player. I just like playing, and I like getting better, and so we'll try and get better together. Let me know what other types of videos you guys would like me to make as well, and I'll go ahead and work on that. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.